Hey there.
Oh God,
Aren't you Wendy Sheeran, the literary agent?
it's sure, but yes.
Okay, so listen, I know you're not technically supposed to do this, but I've got a book that's gonna blow your...
Before you go on, are you signed up for one of my pitch sessions tomorrow?
Well, no. They were charging extra for those, and I'm not exactly flush right now. But when you sign me as a client, we'll both make millions. Billions. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Guy Stanwyck III, and I'm the author of the future best-selling Blood, Sweat, and Tears trilogy.
Excuse me?
The first book is called Daughter of Blood. The second book's called...
Daughter of Sweat?
Yeah, genius, right? But here's the thing, it's not just a trilogy. It's the first trilogy in a trilogy of trilogies, right? Right? 9 books. I've got it all plotted out. I mean, not like on paper, up here.
Okay, I actually have a panel to get to, so if you'll just sign up for one of
It's about this girl named Amethyst Orchid Jones, and she's just your average teenage girl, except, you know, she kicks ass. And she has no idea how
pitch sessions. There's still a few slots open.
Okay, wait, but look, this is the best part. Ready? It's Hunger Games meets Harry Potter meets Game of Thrones meets Star Wars meets 50 Shades of Grey, but feminist.
It's sci-fi, fantasy, YA, but also porn?
It defies genre.
Look, Mr. Stanwyck, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pass.
What?
I wish you the best with this project, but at this time...
Sorry, did you not hear me say guaranteed bestseller?
Oh, I heard you.
Lady, you just made the biggest mistake of your career. I'm the next Stephen King.
Stephen King doesn't write porn.
You're so gonna regret this. I'm gonna be huge. You'll see.
Hey guys, I'm Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If writing workshops and traditional publishing talk are your thing, please consider subscribing. So, that little skit, or whatever that was actually straight from The Pros of Cons, which is a YA novel that I co-authored with Allison Sherry and Lindsay Rebar. We had a blast writing this book together, but in particular that scene, because Guy Stanwyck III is real. I mentioned in last week's video about query letters that there's a lot of ego out there. A lot of people who are utterly convinced that their massive success is inevitable. So what's the point of all this? I had scheduled today's video to be a talk about resilience, because resilience is pretty necessary if you want to pursue traditional publishing. And while the Guy Stanwicks of the world are not going about that pursuit in a way that I would recommend at all, the one positive thing I'll say about them is that they're resilient. They're persistent. They believe in themselves to a delusional degree, and they keep going for what they want. When I share stuff about my own publishing journey on this channel, I always second guess whether or not I'm doing the right thing. Because first of all, I want this channel to be positive and supportive. If you want to be traditionally published, I want you to watch my videos and come away feeling motivated, inspired, and just like this is something you can do and you want to go for it. Also, I don't ever want it to seem like I'm just here to vent about my publishing issues. But I do want to be really transparent and honest about the realities of publishing. And the reality about traditional publishing is that sometimes it's hard and it sucks. There's rejections, of course, from agents and then from editors, but even after that, there are so many things that can go wrong. So in the spirit of transparency, here are a few examples that I've been through. In 2015, I had a 2-book contract with Egmont US, and then Egmont UK abruptly closed that arm of publishing, and all contracts were canceled, including mine. I've had editors that I was working on a series with leave that house for another job altogether. Every single one of my books, aside from the IP projects, have had their publication dates bumped by at least 6 months, even though I have never missed a deadline. On 2 occasions, I was given marketing plans that were actually great and included tours and all kinds of really exciting promotional opportunities that never actually came to fruition. And when those books with no marketing plan failed to sell well, go figure, I was told by my editors that despite getting starred reviews and being on short lists for a few awards, sales and acquisitions teams were no longer interested in even looking at future submissions from me. So there's all the negativity out of the way. Now let's focus on the positive part. I'm still a full-time author. I still have books under contract. The first book in a series that I co-authored is coming out tomorrow. And I have 2 middle grade novels coming out this winter and spring. I was on a panel once where the topic was all about the worst case scenarios in publishing. And someone asked the panel, what do you do when your agent dumps you or your contract gets canceled? How do you handle it? And the other authors on the panel started making jokes about wine and chocolate and tissues. And I was like, no, I don't get sad, I get angry. Not like in a how could this happen to me kind of way, but it's more like a very focused anger where I think, okay, fine. So I was going this way and now a roadblock's been dropped in front of me. How can I mow this thing down or find another route? Years ago, I told my agent that I wanted to audition for any IP project that she heard about and thought might be a good fit for me. For those of you who don't know, IP stands for intellectual property. And when I say IP projects, I'm talking about books that are ideas developed within publishing houses or book packaging companies where they kind of develop the idea and then they hire an author to write the book. The audition typically just means writing a few sample chapters, although in a few cases I've also written synopses of the book. I've only ever been paid once for this. Typically you don't get paid to audition unless, of course, you get the contract. So in the last 5 years, I've auditioned for at least 12 that I can recall, and I've gotten 6 of those. This is my way of staying in the game. Will I ever write an original Just My novel again and actually sell it? I have no idea. My hope is that these IP books will sell well enough to improve my track record, and yeah, one day maybe publishers will want to buy something else from me. And if not, then I will just try something else. Now, I can't talk about the struggles that I've had in this industry without acknowledging the obvious fact that I have a ton of privilege. And while I'm resilient and I keep trying, my privilege has almost certainly played a role in the fact that I'm still here, I'm still in the game, I'm still getting contracts, I'm even getting these opportunities to audition for IP projects in the first place. And I know that right now, this year in 2020, things look even more bleak for aspiring authors. There's Publishing Paid Me, COVID, obviously, all the layoffs in publishing. The industry has a ton of problems. And yeah, it's hard to believe it's ever going to truly change for the better. It's hard to persevere when it seems like it's just never going to happen. So this is where you have to be like Guy Stanwyck III. If you want to go this route, if traditional publishing and seeing your book on the shelves is your dream, resolve to be resilient. Please, I'm begging you, because the industry can't change for the better unless they're getting submissions from people who are telling the types of stories that we need more of in this world. And if those submissions aren't coming in at all, then you know what we're gonna be left with? A bunch of Guy Stanwyck books. I don't wanna read those books. I wanna read your books. Please keep writing. Be resilient. Thank you very much for watching. Now, go write something you love.